Hi guys, my name is Shereif Kholeif. I'm running for GUSA president this year.
Hi Shereif. So, why is Paddy's time up as GUSA president?
That's an interesting question. I don't like to talk about other candidates, but I feel as, because I was captain of the Muay Thai club, and when I reached my end of the year, I put a lot of work into it, I put my heart into it, but when I reached the end of the year, I thought a fresh mind would be great, because it brings a lot of enthusiasm to the role, and it's like when you go in, you really want to prove yourself, so you have that little bit of extra drive, and that's why I'm running, because I believe when I kind of wrote out my manifesto, my ideas throughout the year, that I have that extra drive and I have all these ideas I want to bring, and I've never been one to shy away from a challenge, and I will try to do every single one of my points that I've done, just put them on paper. If you read my past manifestos from every year, that is what I've done. I've done almost everything there.
Well, obviously Paddy might be seen as a safe pair of hands.
Yeah.
Relative.
Well, yeah, relatively. Consistency sometimes can be a hard argument to beat, but at the same time, I feel like GUSA has been pretty stagnant in our engagement. We have 1,700 people that vote every year. There's 11,000 club sport members. There's 29,000 students. So if we can't engage 10% of our university population, if we're going through with arguments every single year, saying, "Oh, we want to do this welfare, we want to do it changes every year," because every president's passionate about something different. So it's easy to see it as it's that person's argument. So I want to come in and I want to engage more people and I want to change things up. Having been involved in cross-campus, having been in the SRC council, I think I can actually come in and engage a lot more students, and hopefully that would strengthen all of our arguments going forward.
And so inclusion, as you said, is one of the kind of key planks of your manifesto.
Yeah.
And obviously you mentioned the fact that you want to include more of the GUSA's existing members.
Yeah.
And if engaging with the society.
Yeah.
But how do you aim to engage with non-members, non-GUSA members at the university, given the fairly significant cost barrier?
Yeah, so the thing about the cost barrier is, I assume you're saying the 125.
Yeah, membership, yeah.
So there's a couple of things there. In terms of kind of highlighting what that 125 means if you compare it with other gyms outside of Glasgow University, other universities, or even just private gyms, if you know that you can do a fitness class every single day for the whole year and it's like £6 a class normally, you start to understand why it's £125. I'm not saying 120, like I'd never want it to go up, I'd always fight against it going up, but 125 is a good place to be. And then going into further arguments, it's more about looking at the right packages. So with Erasmus students, for example, I don't agree that if you're paying for a semester membership, you should be paying 85 rather than actually half the cost. I know businesses operate the way they do, but we're the student voice, so we need to fight for the students. If we want an Erasmus student to come and take a gym membership, it should be half the cost of the actual gym membership.
And so changing these membership
packages rather than
something you're looking at then?
Yeah, it's something that I want to bring forward. There's always been discussion around the table. This year, we've Paddy, I think, mentioned in his interview as well, we talked about the tiered memberships. It's something that it's going to be a very difficult argument to push, but it's something that I'd be willing to consider. That, looking at membership packages and just trying to see what we can offer best. The kind of finance as well with the new portal that Paddy's discussed, that should hopefully be something that any president can do because that money is there. So if there are people, for example, I've seen your article about asylum seekers, if there are people that are struggling, that is something that the hardship fund could consider going forward. But that's something, yeah.
And so you mentioned also in your manifesto that you're keen to start up a kind of work experience programme with Glasgow Cali and Glasgow University students, which seems on the face of it a very good idea, but obviously that would require quite a lot of work, particularly with linking up with another university.
Yeah.
Is there anything more that is there any more kind of detail that you would be able to kind of elaborate on that?
Yeah, so I actually have spoken to Jamie Taylor, who works in club sport. He thinks it's a really good idea, and we actually already have some clubs that do it. The Women's Rugby Club have a couple kind of physios that go in. So the platform is there, but it's just not kind of publicised the right way. So it's something that I want to build on and make it more successful, because if you say, for example, if you're a final year sports scientist or if you're a physio from Cali, you say, "Oh, I did one summer internship for 6 weeks with Glasgow Warriors." Sure, that's great, but then if you say, "Oh, I've worked with a club for a year and I was kind of the main person there," that is probably something that will kind of stand out a bit more. So it's about showing people that experience is more important than kind of, you know, the kind of quality and length of experience is more important than just doing like a 2-week internship kind of thing.
And so you think that it's going to be something that's probably quite easy to implement then because it's
already happening,
to students, yeah.
Yeah, it's already happening as well. So
you mentioned also the Festival of Sport. which seems to kind of place the emphasis on a kind of more casual atmosphere for engaging in sport. Do you think that that's one of the ways to engage specifically non-members of the student body?
100%. Yeah, I think I have talked to Lauren and SRC Prez, and I've talked to Chris Timmins, and it's the idea is if it's more recreational, we can have kind of mixed teams, we can be more inclusive, we can put kind of any banner under it, we can write intramural leagues, for example, medics, dentists, vets, etc. We can say that the teams are mixed, so we're not putting kind of the emphasis on gender. It's not men's football, it's not women's football, it's mixed, so it's trying to engage as many people as possible. And who doesn't love like a little bit of a fun sports day? You remember in school when you went for a sports day, that's the kind of idea that we want to do, but on a wider scale. Durham has a successful one with about 4,400 people that attend every year, so that shows you that we can.
And so how would that fit in, I suppose, with the kind of with membership options? Then would you need to be affiliated, or is this going to be something that's going to be open to all students?
I would hope that it's open to all students, so it's something I'd work on. We do have events that we do run, and we allow non-members. So the idea is depending on where this is placed. So for this year, because it's in the trial phase, it's happening on the 18th of May. So it's a way to celebrate our end of year thing. But what we want to do next year is put it into Freshers Week, and that way we can celebrate the start of the year, and we can use it as a way to kind of pitch, here's GUSA, we have a lot of fun, come join us. And then if they enjoyed their kind of rec league and they played in a team of whatever it was, 8 freshers or their mixed years, then our rec leagues, which are currently suffering a little bit, we can try to offer the rec league as a way of signing up for something more consistent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And kind of moving more on to the sort of welfare side of things, you mentioned that you want to kind of implement some sort of traffic light scheme for students with autism, and also lobby for an extra pitch at Garscoop. I think the obvious response from critics would be that that's asking more of an already stretched staff at University of Glasgow Sport. How do you aim to collaborate with staff and with unions, with the university to implement this?
So which one would you like me to address first?
So I suppose,
the facilities or the... Okay, we'll talk about the kind of traffic light system first. So with that, it depends what way you're looking at it. So if we're trying to do something that's the whole year round, that's obviously quite taxing. It would depend on getting the right monitoring software, and monitoring software isn't expensive if you do it right. It could be a couple of £100, because I've kind of already done my research and looked into it. But the other way of doing it is to, which is probably for the 1 year goal more pragmatic, is to have 1 day a month, for example. That day, that the whole kind of live feed is done for that day, and it's done by one staff member. So that staff member would go and check the room and be like, okay, we're currently here, free. But then if that trial works, and everything's on a trial basis, so we do it once, if it works over 2 or 3 months, then we start looking at that whole year-long system where we can get monitoring software in. There's 2 ways of doing it, getting a turnstile on the outside, though a very expensive way, or getting some sort of monitoring software which can track people's phones, etc., while they're in the gym using the facility. So, and then the facilities, the Garscoop pitch. So that is already in the process. As Paddy said, he wrote the proposal for that. But the thing about writing a proposal to kind of higher up is you can put it in once and it might get rejected. So then you have to go back to the drawing board and you find out how you want to present that idea. So with that, what I'm saying is we're already doing it. I'm going to keep pushing for it, and I'm going to look at the kind of arguments which you can use to engage it. You just have to know what way to present an argument, and I'll keep looking at the best way to do that.
But obviously, the thing that the university is just always going to come back to you and say is, we can't get the staff numbers for that. What's kind of going to be your workaround for that? Do you think?
As in, you can't get the staff numbers to?
That's going to be asking either more of existing staff or getting more staff in, right? And that's costs money in that. And that's going to be the argument that they're always going to come back to you with. So what would be in that situation your response?
So. The U of G Sport are kind of working with us on it, so it'd be to work, because they have the most experience, they've been here for 20 years, and if they think it's feasible, then we just have to put in the right arguments. So it'd be talking to them and finding out what the best way is, whether it is hiring a couple new extra staff members. The way you have to look at it is, if you build a new pitch and because of that you have engaged an extra, whatever it might be, 100, 200 people that have joined club sport, if those 200 people tell you that uni or sport made their experience and they're paying $9,000 a year, then it becomes quickly worth the money. Because if you, let's just talk about welfare staff member. You're paying $25,000 a year for a staff member. and you have 3 people that went to that staff member that told you that they kept them in uni, 9 grand, 9 grand, 9 grand, that pays their salary. So it's about putting the right arguments forward and actually really thinking about what kind of impact it would have.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Perfect. Lastly, you mentioned one of your campaign videos, you want more events aimed at autistic students.
Yeah.
If you could just outline kind of what these would look like and specifically how they would cater to those specific needs.
Yeah, so with that, the reason why I have put that in my manifesto is because last year's president, Isabella Heath, she did an autistic open day and we had about 7 or 8 people attend. And I think after talking to Julie Hughes, like a sport coordinator, there's about maybe 80 to 100 registered autistic students with disability services. So to have 7 people attend, that's 10%. That is a good kind of feed. So if we managed to do that one day last year, why haven't we done it this year? And it's something I want to push forward again. So whether it's a kind of like a day around the gym where the music is off, there's not as much stimulation, and we can use Revolve without the screens, etc. It's just finding out what we can do and try to attract students to come a bit more to the gym who might be at home and really need it. So.
Yeah, I suppose the kind of thing would be there, the overstimulation argument, fine, but from the kind of social aspect as well might pose significant barriers. What do you think would be a kind of workaround for that?
I mean, I would definitely discuss with Izzy what she did because she was so passionate about it and it was successful. But I think what she did is she took them around the gym herself and gave them a tour, and it was quite she kind of kept it quite social, and because there's other people there who can relate to you, that you feel a bit more comfortable going there. And obviously before any of them came around, I would put out a survey and we ask them if there's anything we could do to make their stay a bit more comfortable before we even do it. So,
okay, thanks very much.